That's what I'm saying, we can,
that I can ask Halo and see if they know of any grants and get with NAPDAS and us as well, and see what they came up with. We're also teaming up with HCA Hospital System. We're trying to get, October is the Heart Awareness Month, so we're trying to get some, a couple of dates set up with, I'm gonna get with Ms. Martinez on using the community center, so we can get a couple of hands, only CPR classes. I'm trying to do it 2 classes, one Saturday or 2 Saturdays of the month. Try to get 4 classes and get as many people as we can, doing the hands-only CPR, community CPR. I have a meeting with them tomorrow.
So on the secondary response, is that when, we don't have an ambulance?
That's what, in your unit's out on a call, yes,
So that's somebody else coming in?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So what's the response time?
They were 18 minutes.
So you get, so if Sitton is gone, so if Sitton is gone and Odom's gone, who's,
They try to shift from TAC or Corpus.
is that a long time?
I'm sorry, 18 minutes. If they were on another call and clearing up to come over
Is
here,
that a long time?
it can be, yes.
Depends on the
Depending
situation.
on the situation.
What's the state required to do that?
I'd have to look into that.
I mean, I think 18 is,
You have to realize too, I think they drive to a hospital that's either, if they're being diverted in 5 Points, they have to drive them to Corpus, the nearest hospital, Corpus or Portland. You have to take into consideration that time frame too on the emergency. If a patient codes in the ambulance, if something's going on, those are all considerations that somebody who's not clinical is not gonna take into perspective. And if you only have 1 unit, then, I mean, they're doing what I think they can.
so have we ever asked for two?
No, because they always have, that's one step up.
But they had delayed them as well to train, sometimes the train was delayed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard
And
to
then they'll
get
go
up
over
there.
here for their vacation.
Can I speak? They did offer us 2, but it costs more money.
Yeah.
Now, Centen's got 2 because they're larger, they're double in size, and they could probably afford it.
Yeah.
But they did offer it to us, but it was gonna cost a lot more money.
budget. Bigger budget.
Yes.
You did it on purpose.
How are we gonna be doing for winter time, those ambulances for the, I guess that's what you call them, the meds and stuff, they got heated for the ambulances?
The
They gotta
crews,
be heated.
the crews are supposed to bring in their fluids and their meds when they're not sitting in the, or they're not in the truck, and leave it by the door so they can grab it on the way out to help keep it under control. Yes. And it's the same for when it's super hot outside as well.
I do want to thank Legends because they communicate good with their officers. They're always communicating well when they go to calls and so on, so I appreciate that. That communication does a lot for the officers and as well for them, so.
I think you do an awesome job too, because they have to report every month.
Yeah, thank you.
You're the only one in the city that's report every month, and you do a great job. Thank you.
Report, for a special minute.
There it is.
Mayor, council, citizens. This report will be verbal this time. My other reports will be in more detail and in paper form. As you know, you have a standard run sheet that's given to you every month anyway. What I'm gonna contact on is issues that is along with that, but above and beyond. And I know this gentleman, he's got a meeting to get to, so I've got a lot to detail here, so I'm gonna go over it fairly quickly. Line item one, I'm gonna touch base on the fire department roof. Fire department, roof issue will be granted on the 16th of this month to awarding contractor. So far, we have 4 existing contractors, 3 new contractors from Corpus, 1 from Portland has chimed in. And the procedures for this will be the contractors are given till the 9th to put their name in the hat. From the 12th, they will be given a date to come by and view the fire department, existing areas, all at the same time, different times through the day, but all at the same time. Then they will be required to submit their numbers by the 15th, by the end of the day on the 15th, and then the 16th, we will award the job to them. And to answer any questions or anything out there that there's been delays, because I know there's been a lot of talk, and I know there's some members that are, this is close to them to get this done, and which is completely understandable. However, there are some logistical issues that we had to work through, which was dealing with some financial issues, getting the CDs prepared, things of this nature, which I've already dealt with and voted on. And I was told that that is underway and that will be taken care of in plenty of time for us to issue this on the 16th. So given that end, and we'll get the date from the contractors, they'll move forward. The item number 2, the fire department unit brush truck pump. The pump has been paid for, a little under $13,000, brand new, a very large pump, which will upgrade the pump, as I mentioned in my previous meeting, which will benefit the fire department greatly and the city of Odom, and be quite honest with you, Sinton, Taft, and everyone else that we co-service. That pump, we have not obtained a delivery date from the manufacturer yet. However, we do have a confirmation, and the funds have been removed out. I put in 2 calls to the manufacturer today. They did not have time to get back with me by the end of the day. So as soon as they get with me, I will text all of the council members, mayor, and the fire department to let them know what the delivery date is on the pump. Once the pump gets here, I'll assess the truck, the pump, and we will get the things put together for the firemen and get it issued back to them just as soon as we possibly can. Okay. The item 3, new projects with GrantWorks. That's over $400,000. That's going to basically affect our water distribution system out on Highway 77, which is going to bring in 3 brand new oversized pumps, the manifolding structures with that also. It also will affect our water tower system to get the water tower maintained, and to look at putting a bypass system into the water tower, which at the previous time I was here, I spoke to Mayor Huerta about that same issue about getting the bypass and things done, because even at that time, if the water tower goes down, the city of Odom is dead in the water source, excuse the pun. You have no drinking water. We have no way of pumping from our supplied station tanks to the city without a bypass. So we're going to put a simple bypass system in the event that the tower goes down, but we need it because the maintenance on the tower is going to take 30 to 60 days. The city cannot be without water for that long. So this will benefit the city in the long run, and will provide an adequate source of emergency application in the event that the tower is down. The tower supplies kinetic force to the city. It's unpumped. It provides gravitational force. The bypass system and the pressure tank will mimic the gravitational force allowed by the city. So those of you that are sitting there and say, my house is 500 years old and it can't take any additional water pressure, don't worry, that'll all be mimicked, actually about 15 pounds under what the tower will run right now. So we shouldn't have any line burst, any issues with water pressure at all. And the water will stay the same sweet, just like it is right now. We won't have any issues with that. Third aspect is a sewer plant, looking at some pump covers, providing we have the funds left over from line item A and B. Line item A and B are the pumps, and the bypass, that's more important to the city right now. The other one is just to fill in for the sewer plant. Okay, item 4, very quickly, the sewer plant generator and maintenance tanks will be taken care of. We need to get those taken care of to bring them online and bring a transfer switch to that system. The last few times we've had these rains and these power outages, we had to go in there and manually start the generators and keep them filled up. That tank sitting there is a 850-gallon tank. It's never been used since I've ever been here. And I've been with the fire department a good long time. It's never been active. And in which case it fills with water, it gets dirt, the lines are bad. So we just need to get it serviced and put back up online. We have line item 5, which is new water projects, new water lines. We've got some 4-inch lines that are going to be replaced in the city. 500 linear feet, that's times 3. We have 2-inch lines, city block sides, 500 feet, that will also be replaced due to calcites and low water volume, which will also be taken care of. Currently looking at additional bids, line item 6, additional bids on the LED lighting on Highway 77. Okay, we did receive some other bids. I wasn't happy with the bids. They weren't detailed enough, and the numbers just didn't match. I didn't like the numbers. So we're reviewing that right now. Line item 7, on the parking lot outside, the city parking lot, we've got 3 water meters that were relocated for the egress of that parking lot. We're going to pour a small concrete mound around those water meters to keep the water meters and protect those water meters right there. The Kubota tractor, there's been some issues on that with it being down. We fabricated the part. I will get the part to the guys. The part that's been fabricated, if we were able to buy it, was $2,384. The part has been obsolete for, Kubota couldn't even tell me how long it had been obsoleted. So that's something that we'll get back up where they'll have the rear discharge cutter so they can go ahead and move forward. Also, next week, we're going to look at taking a drive around with the mayor and myself and Jamie and possibly the mayor pro tem on the streets. We would like to get some bids started on getting the streets repaired and things of this nature. We have an open budget on the streets, so we want to get that taken care of and get that started. Lastly, the transfer switch, item 10 for the police department. We've got several of them located. We also have 2 large fuel tanks, and both of them are currently under pending, but it doesn't look like they're going to have the money to purchase them and move them. So we're going to look at that, and I'll get with you on that, and we'll go from there on that. The generator sides for the PD and for the city of Odom, we mandatorily have to have one for the water plant for the new water pumps. But currently, I've already notified TCQ. We're looking at some new numbers and things of this nature to see what we can get. Gerald's got some on standby for rental, so in the event that we do have a hurricane or anything negative, we can take care of that. And we've been using an outside contractor. We actually use several outside contractors, but the one that we've been using quite a bit has been dealing with these water leaks and things of this nature. The water leaks that we've been finding, some of them I remember them when I was here, and they haven't been addressed until now. That's not throwing rocks at anyone, but that gives you a scope of how long some of these leaks have been running and dealing with us. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Aren't you short-staffed in the water department?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Gonna help?
Yes, ma'am. But I'll tell you this, and here again, I'm not trying to start a Facebook war and get my name thrown out everywhere. But when I started here, the mayor and I, he's sitting right there, we drove around the city at that time, and we had allocated, we found 65 some odd leaks that have been notable. She was handling the water department at that time, Miss Becky. Some of those have been over 4 years old. And keep in mind, back then, we had a full crew. We had a full crew. And that crew, I know this for a fact, because I sat in with the mayor, I sat in with Jamie. They would sit there and they would ask, how's everything's great, everything's fine, we're tearing up, we're busting our tail, everything's good. Well, when we get out there, everything's really not good, and they really haven't been busting their tail. So you can't blame city officials for that issue because they rely on what they're told. The city had a full crew back then. You guys have to understand that. You had a full convict crew that had been here and worked well together. But now, since when I came on, then all of a sudden we didn't have equipment. We didn't have things to purchase equipment. We purchased what the city needed at the time. I'm back here 6.5 years later. I can't find a complete tap set for all of our systems. We want it. I can't find the Lysol. We want it. They're not here. So it's like a go back to square one. So I bring these issues up, not to go out to the hard house, because I am part of the hard house. I work for everyone here. What I'm trying to make is these issues have been chronicled with the city for many years. And when you have a full head of steam here and a full competent crew, and you've got leaks that have been bypassed and overlooked for 4 to 5 years at that time, some Ms. Becky said it was even longer than that. Okay, we had one at that time that created a lake in a gentleman's property. We had to go out and fix. And it had been there for Lord knows how many years. So my point to this is, we're trying to get a system put together to where it will rectify these issues and these guys don't get complacent, because a lot of times you get guys that get sidetracked on this, and this. At the end of the day turns into tomorrow turns into next week turns into next month turns into a year. And then we start looking at these things and it's flabbergasting, the amount of time that has gone through them.
I thought the city had their own excavator.
We didn't, and I put in 5 emailed orders to get that excavator taken over to the dealer to get it fixed. And it wasn't done until we had a major issue. We had to go rent one, and then we got to get it fixed. The tracks literally fell off.
And a backup, I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
3,765.
Yes. Leaks on the equipment, things of this nature, those types of things could be addressed at the time they happen. Yet it just builds up and builds up and builds up till it falls apart, and then you're sitting there wondering, what are you going to do?
If the red light is on there, is there something wrong?
Well, it depends on the situation, ma'am. The lights will stay solid, or they will blink during cycles of the pumps and things of this nature. If the pumps are cycling from pump 1 to pump 2, they will blink, and that's like an audible alarm, but it'll blink. No, if the light is on, then those can be where they time down. Sometimes they might be on for an hour to 2 hours at a time because they time down. Yes, ma'am. But those are issues that we're also dealing with. This is not everything that we're dealing with. We're dealing with a lot more than what's here. These are just touching bases on some of these other areas. But I bring this up to y'all so y'all will understand that every month I sit out there, or I sit back here, and the guys, we're overwhelmed of this and that, of this and that. All that is an excuse. That's not anything constructive to say, okay, well, this is what we have to move forward. I'm not putting the guys down. This is just the nature of the beast here. Okay. And one bad thing about me, I don't sugarcoat anything and I don't politicize it. I just say it the way I see it and the way it is. But we do have some work to do in these areas. And fortunately, the mayor's here and Becky's here, that were part of that back then. And so I don't mean to put you guys on the spot or nothing like that. I'm just using y'all as a reference. But yes, the guys are understaffed, ma'am. We are understaffed. As a matter of fact, the last gentleman just quit. There's several different versions as to why. I'm not going to go into what they are, but they're just not. A week ago. Was it a week?
No.
When? Last week. Yeah.
So John, how many should you have?
Well, The water department, should have 4 people.
What are you budgeted for?
Well, I haven't seen any of the budget, so I can't answer
What
those
is the
questions. I haven't
budget,
seen any budget
in
for
the water?
budgetaries at all.
4? And how many do you have?
We have 1.
You have 1.
Right. However, we're running contractors right now that's taking care of these leaks and have been taking care of these leaks even when we had the other 2 guys here. When we had 3. We were still running the contractors even when we had 3 men.
You know, one thing with those contractors, they get it done.
Well, they come in, they get
They
it done.
I've seen them work and they.
There's a cost involved, but there's a cost involved to having 4 men on payroll and salaries and everything else. But I'm not advocating one over the other, so don't read anything into that. I'm just stating that, you know, when you have an issue, we call them out, they come out and do it. And even when we had 3 men on town, when we had our equipment and had rental equipment here, we were still using the contract. So,
But is y'all's pay
So what?
competitive?
What about?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Is the pay competitive?
No.
What do you mean?
Your employer's pay,
You mean what we pay the gentleman?
I get it competitive.
Okay.
On the other department, are you short or are you full staff?
The maintenance, we're short. We're short 1 guy, I believe, what we normally have.
So you should have, I mean,
The maintenance usually had, 4, I believe, too.
so right now you have
3, yes.
So you're only contracting out the water right now?
No, yes, sir, that is correct. The one. Other than other issues that we may have dealing with other areas in the city, then we use other contractors for that, but yes.
John, on, that street repair, are you gonna contract out, or you are gonna contract that out, like?
I'm sorry,
for
sir?
Shield coating and, is that what we're gonna do?
Yes, yes.
We're not gonna use our guys?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we're gonna contract it out, yes.
Okay, okay.
And
I'm just going.
No,
We're gonna go back to square one.
And-
Okay, so
And what I-
that's what, because we got that street maintenance tax.
Exactly, and we have
And we
money
gotta
there.
use that, we gotta
And,
use that.
So what we'd like to do is, we would like to obviously entertain our local contractors, entertain anyone that wants to place a bid. And then go in there and repair the sections of the street that is most needed first. And then we will address the other areas. We have roughly $300,000 in street maintenance money, and it sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not when it comes down to linear footage on the street. So we will address the streets that need the attention the most, and then the mayor will take it up with council, make a unilateral decision on what streets we want to take care of, and we'll address it that way.
So when you say repair, you're talking about, I know there's some in Oldham South. I know there's some on this side of town.
All right, let me give you an example. Say we have a road.
With caliche and.
Right, well,
tar.
it depends on how far the base is down. If we have a pothole and the rest of the base on the road is well, then we'll go in there and rebuild the pothole and rebuild the base and top it. If we have a road that has the sub base is damaged in a lot of areas, then it's cheaper just to go in and take the asphalt down, put new base, new asphalt, and go from there.
So is that why, Mr. Tony Bettis lives right in front of his house, there's been a cone there, like, a big pothole, and that cone's been sitting there.
Okay.
Is that the purpose of that?
Well, yeah, what happens all too often is if you have a leak, we have a repair, so they dig up the road. And that base material doesn't dry. And the guys go in there and they throw a bunch of sack mix on the top of it and they roll it down and it's all well and good. The problem with that is that when you don't cut the corners, the sack mix will not adhere and flow right. So when the cars go, it just blows it straight out and it makes the hole actually worse than it was if you never touched it to begin with. And so that's where you see a lot of the potholes where you keep complaining about them and the guys go out there, they throw the mix in there and then a short while later the cars bang it out. Because the substrate's wet, it's not going to adhere, it's not going to bond, it's just going to blow straight out of there and it's actually taking more base with it when it goes. So those are areas that we need to address as well.
So is that how we're gonna fix it? Like he's saying, we're not gonna go in there.
Do it right.
Do it right, yeah.
Do it right.
Yes, we're going to do it right.
John, at Route Street over there, Route, and Flournoy, where you at, Flournoy? There's been a place that's been roped for about 2 months.
You're talking about in front of Marcos?
Yeah,
That's a repair.
but that's been there 2 or 3
That's been there
months.
for a while.
Yeah, well, that actually, that whole entire area had gotten subsaturated with the line road. And when it was repaired, I prevented them from putting anything on it. Because had they tried to put material on it and people drive by and say, oh, great, we fixed it, it's gonna make it into a moon crater and it's gonna be worse. So actually, a lot of times when you don't touch them, it's better than when you do. Again, we had a class, we gave a class on how to do potholes and cut them and things of this nature back in the day. And it stands the same 40 years ago and now. Street maintenance it's an issue that needs to be taken care of. But it is an art because you got to know exactly what you're doing. Otherwise, you're wasting your money and you're not going to get any bang for your buck. This time around, we'll try to get as much bang for the 300,000 as we can get.
So what are we gonna do about his short staff?
About the way.
Short staff. Well, I see some of the contracts that we've been, and I'm not saying they're not good, but they're expensive too.
You'd like to know what we've spent so far?
What are we gonna do? We're gonna keep using contractors. We're not gonna hire, or we're getting into winter,
Yeah.
so, I mean, we gotta have a plan, I would think.
Well, what was discussed with me,
Like to talk about the budget.
Okay.
We have a workshop.
yeah, what was discussed with me is the mayor and the city administrator had no problem with wanting to bring other folks in. The problem is just finding folks that are willing to come in for what we're willing to pay and this sort of thing. So we have to balance that out. But the contractor base that we've been primarily targeting has been some of the larger leaks that have been moving around a lot that needed to be taken care of, that it was just never taken care of. And keep in mind, we spend money with a contractor or a city staff, myself, so on and so forth. But every single minute of every hour, of every day, of every month, of every year, that water's running. The city pays for that water that it cannot collect. So when water is going out the door and you cannot collect it from the citizens, that's money out the back door. It takes money away from the city, PD, whatever else we need. And I'm not talking a few $100s here. It's large amounts of money when we do that. And I calculated that back then. I have not now, so I don't want to reiterate on numbers far with a check. But I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars at the end of the year for this stuff.
You have a question, Vicki?
I just have a reminder, when you're talking about the contractors and then you're talking about the city workers, you have to remember that the city workers also get called off of jobs to take care of phone calls that come into the city that they're called off to take out of and go do that and come back to their
Yes,
work.
that's all
So
calculated.
that's,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
but that's, the contractors don't have that.
No, ma'am, they
The
do
city
not.
workers do,
That's
so
right.
their time is just split
Well,
with
that's-
three
that's
different
right.
ways.
It's just like you and I,
Yeah.
we're gonna go take our car down, or we're gonna change the oil, or we're gonna take it down to have them change it. When you drive into the oil change place, they get right on it, get it in, get it out, and
Get
go
it
down the road.
out, yeah. But
When we have to do it, we gotta take care of mama, babies, daddies, whatever the case may be, and then we change our oil. So, yeah, it's a good point, but that's a system, that's a scenario that's been here with the city, it'll always
The
be
whole
with the
time.
city.
always.
And my point is that even when we had full competent crews, we
It
were
wasn't getting
extremely negligent on a lot of things. And we haven't changed that cycle. Now we need to try our very best to put programs together
Absolutely.
to help our staff deal with these issues and have some checks and balances that the councils and the city administration staff can deal with and can back chase these things. And I'm not saying everybody's not honest, but we all have our good
Oh,
days
they
and
let
bad
it
days.
slide, I know.
So, yes,
I was
ma'am,
in-
but that
I
is,
was in utility.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
let it slide.
Thanks for texting us too, 'cause I get a lot of texts from you saying,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
we got a water
Yes.
break, so in case somebody calls, we got a water break on Main.
well, the last few times I haven't been getting the text because I had some personal issues I had to deal with. And so I was kind of out of pocket for a little while. But other than that, yes.
Yeah, did we see, well, hey, what's going on? We got a water break on Main. Thanks.
Well, that goes along to just answer one question this gentleman Mr. Maldonado had said that there's, for some reason, the basic council don't know what's going on. And we try to inform you as far as what we're dealing with on a level that you can deal with. And so in the event that you have a citizen ask you in your area or whatever what's going on, you need to know. It's important. Yeah. That's it? Okay, thank you all very much.
Item number 3, we're gonna do.
This is D to A.
Actually, thank you, Mayor, for moving me up. I know I got another meeting there for the one, so things are changing, so. Anyway, just quick, trying to do a resolution actually for a, resistant shield grant. And we're doing this for, 2023. So start actually coming up. And I gave all this, in the report. And in the meeting, as you can see, we can get a final day to submit certification application on the 19th. So this is actually going to be a shield that actually offers the life tank training, which is called alert, the 16-hour training, with the shield, and actually for active shooter or something, we've never gotten active shooter, but if we do, the officers have the protection of the shield to actually go into, residence owner, for a active shooter. It actually put the shield that we were actually trying to purchase in the back. We just gave GT to shoot it.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 617.
Motion made by Jesse, second by Lynette. Any discussion? Phase 1, yes. Phase 2, yes.
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 Mayor Council, thank you.
Next, we can,
And real quickly, are you gonna give them this card too, that you're gonna have this kind of, equipment?
Yes, once we do get it through the whole grant process and we actually did get awarded the funds, then we'll get with the school and advise them. Actually, we'll do training with them at the same time. Mayor, did you want me to talk about the animal control two-part?
oh, yes, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll do item, so discussion on animal control.
Yeah. Actually, I met with the city of Taft. We're actually working on something right now with animal control. The mayor told me to go and speak to me and the mayor, and we saw him at one of the functions, and he told advised him about it. Told me to speak to his chief because he's in charge of the animal control, the chief of police in Taft. So he's all for it. He's agreed to help us out, trying to do something so it works right now. We're going to try to see if we can work with Taft and see what kind of agreement we could come with their mayor, council, and you all at the same time, and as well with the chief over there and myself. Of course, we're only going to try to do it for bite cases or animal cruelty cases. We're not going to be picking up all the dogs from the block and taking it over there. So we're going to try to just do the bite cases and cruelty to animal cases, which is a good start. I appreciate them, and they do help us out. Something that's a bit closer at the same time, and it's something that we're going to work out the details as we go on with the workshop.
This will be interlocal agreement.
This will be interlocal.
Has the numbers before budget?
I'm gonna try to, we're really gonna have to work with them, see if they give us a number, see what they would charge us. Right now, I came up with the proposal, they said, well, let's go talk about it and see where we go from there. I don't wanna say no numbers because I don't want them to think we're gonna agree to that. Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. Go ahead.
No, but this is not pertaining to police department, it's something else. I'll talk to you later about it.
Oh, okay.
It's not on the agenda, so I just,
Okay, thank you.
there's been a report where you won't be here.
Next, we have discussion, didn't take action to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, August 2nd, 2022, and special call meeting, August 15th, 2022.
I make a motion to approve it.
Motion made by Risley. I'm sorry. Second by Lynette. Any discussion? Discussion, take the vote from phase 1. Yes. Phase 2.
I'd like to abstain since I was.
Phase 3,
Yes.
phase 4.
Yes.
Next, we have, discuss, consider, take action to approve a variance of 3 feet on the right side setback and 1 feet on the left side setback of the property line for Sylvia Fernando Riojas at 513 East Humphreys, lot 9, lot 18. For Mrs. ARV.
Yes, this was on the agenda, on the table last month. We got the letter. I spoke to her, she signed it. So we have both letters where they, both neighbors approve for this variance.
I'll make the motion to approve the variance.
Motion made by, do you have a second? Second by Yolanda. Any discussion?
Well, we got the letter and everything, right?
Ready to go.
All
Got an anxious homeowner, so
right.
thank you.
We'll take a vote on phase 1. Phase 2? Yes. Phase 3?
Yes.
Phase 4?
Yes.
Okay, next we have discussed, consider, and take action to approve resolution number 616, allowing the Oldham Edgewater Independent School District homecoming parade and closing of streets on October 6, 2022. I think you'll have the picture there.
Yeah. I'll make the motion, we approve resolution 616.
Motion made by, second by Lynette. Any discussion?
Yeah, wrong guns.
Nobody, Yolanda?
Are we gonna be writing on the fire truck?
We're gonna be writing on the fire truck.
Yeah, nobody had discussion with the chief. Had mentioned that people could ride on the fire truck, so it's kind of.
Would they do it, but it's like, they would have to, like,
Sign a waiver.
Sign a waiver.
Like they did last year. There was no problem.
Any other discussion?
This is the football team, you're talking about, football team, okay? You need to ride in the fire truck? Okay.
Any other discussion?
Huh?
Okay, do you have phase 1? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Phase 2?
Yes.
Phase 4?
Yes.
Next, discuss, consider, take action to approve resolution number 618, recommendation by the Oldham Economic Development Corporation, the use of 4B sales tax money.
Make a motion to approve 618. Just go ahead and we'll discuss it.
You have something in your packet.
Then you can discuss it.
I second. Second by Yolanda. Okay, any discussion? I don't guess, I just want to say before. Well, the first one's to approve up to 9,999 to assist Mr. Lee Wanda with the renovation of at 21 Main Street. And then the second one's approve up to 9,999 to assist Mr. Lee Wanda with installation of concrete entrance at 1621 Foss Avenue to move 4534 driveway entrance to the property from Highway 77. And the next one's to approve up to 1,000 per month to assist the Oldham Mill League to maintain the fields year round. And then the fourth one is to approve 2,000 to assist the Oldham Events Association with Halloween in the park. $1,000
Up to that. It's just because, it could be $650. Or it could be $500. Then also a lot of stuff, you can do more stuff than just one.
And it's what, 5 fields?
Yeah.
That they're maintaining?
And they gotta try to do, they're gonna try to get the, I guess, what are they gonna
Round
do?
up on the fence line.
Round up, just, so all they gotta do is just come play.
So does this mean the city does no longer have to maintain it?
You know? We're helping.
But they were maintaining.
No,
No,
the city
no, up
maintains
to-
it all the time when they're not playing.
But
When they're not cutting the grass. The city maintains it.
Right, but I think they cut the grass away, they cut the park where it's just like that.
Well, it was wet, that's why, we looked into it, it was because it was wet, that's why they couldn't do it. But I did look into it.
But they do, I mean, I see, it's not only, it's been dry like the previous 6 months, and it was like that too.
No, but this right here is, I think you
I
discussed.
think it's the inside that they're gonna do, and then the city does the exterior.
Well, the city's supposed to do the whole thing, it's a city park, but they haven't been doing it like they're supposed to.
So what is
Dirt?
the money for the?
Well, the city's gonna take the maintenance of it, then we don't.
But I thought y'all were gonna have a workshop with Adam to decide how y'all were gonna help him
Yeah.
before we,
We are gonna have a workshop,
Committed
this
to
just to get the ball rolling, because we might tell them $20. No, up to.
Still, that's.
I think there was a number he put out there.
but how much does the city charge to cut Exxon's grass? How much do y'all charge to go cut yards? 125? So if you multiply that times 5 fields, it's about $1,000 almost.
But we don't charge them.
But the city doesn't charge them.
When y'all go cut grass?
No, we don't charge the living.
Oh, I know.
So that's what I was.
They just- I think what we're trying to do, Ruben, and get it right, is just to start getting ready, so when they go in there, just like, I think like I said, round up.
Well, y'all gotta stop and think, we gotta invest in our kids, because if they don't play here, they're going to Portland, they're going to Sinton, and they're playing in the Oil Belt. So where are our kids gonna be at? If we don't try to invest a little bit of money into our kids, they're not gonna play here.
So the money is gonna be to do additional things to the field.
Besides the
That's what it is, yeah. I mean, like I said,
Cause I don't know if y'all been to the park, but it's not very nice.
So it's not really just to clean it up, it's to do other things.
Maintain.
Maintenance.
Maintain, a whole maintenance.
because then once once
Just
the
make-
season, they get that crabgrass on, and they gotta take the crabgrass out, that takes a lot of.
No, I thought we were gonna do a 3-month
Oh, it's
contract.
3 months. I think.
It was a 3 months. It was 3
Were they
months.
gonna go off the contract?
He did give us a bid. Weren't y'all at the same meeting I was at?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did give us a bid.
A 3-month bid, a 3-month trial bid, and then
Right.
He gave us a bid.
For somebody already?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I have it in my car if y'all need it.
Roundups, Roundup and cultivating and stuff like that. That's up to, so.
And it's good. I mean,
Yeah, bring them the dirt.
a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of money in there, and we're always trying to find ways to improve the whole, to benefit our kids.
It's for the kids. At the end of the day, it's for the kids.
I already did. You seconded. Yeah, we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see, we're discussion.
Discussion, yeah.
Ready to vote, huh?
So we need to use that monitor, this, right?
But that's what they
Right.
agreed to monitor.
Y'all are gonna monitor all that stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
yeah, we're gonna talk to.
See, that monitor, y'all are gonna do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
As long as we're notified that a check was being requested, then we can monitor it. 'Cause we don't write the checks.
Yeah, so then once
Once we
it's
check
being
it, then I
requested,
will-
then that's when y'all will take action, to make sure.
It's done, yes.
Hey, with all these projects, do the same thing,
Yeah, maybe.
We're not gonna just issue a check, and, no, it's gonna be with that.
Any other decisions? Take a vote, please, one, yes, this two, yes, this two.
This.
Yes.
Okay, motion is- They discuss, consider, and take action to approve resolution number 618, recommendation by the automaker. Oh, wait a minute.
I was going, wait a minute. I know the resolution.
Okay. Discuss, consider, take action to set proposed tax rate for 2020.
We just discussed it. I make a motion we propose order number 466.
This is to set the-
To set the tax rate.
Yes, to set the
Oh,
tax rate.
now you got me looking at a resolution.
Yes.
Or the.
What is it?
To set it, at 6, right? Yeah, but for this,
First, you gotta accept it.
acceptance, and then.
And this is the-
Oh, okay. I see what it is. We got set, and then get the resolution. Come back. Well, I'll make a motion that, we set proposed tax rate for 2022.
Motion made by Jesse, do you have a second? Oh, set it.
167,
Oh, yeah, put it over this. Shit. All right. So it's a tax rate of 0.674179. This.
Discuss, consider, take action to adopt ordinance number 466, setting the tax rate for 2022. Now with the ordinance.
Okay, I'll make a motion to report, number 466, ordinance number 466.
Okay, motion made by Jesse, do you have a second?
No, second.
Second by Lindsay. Discussion?
Yes.
Case 1? Case 2? Case 3?
Yes.
Case 4?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passed. Okay, discuss, consider, and take action to allow the Outdoor Pizza and Clayton's Meat Market to pour concrete for building to attach to the city's parking lot. What I want to say is that before we start,
I make a motion that we approve the,
well, hold on,
well, you gotta get it on the table before you start discussing
so
it.
that's the whole thing, I wanted to table the agenda item so we can receive more information from the building owner in reference of how the concrete structure will be built, who will take the responsibility for the added responsibility for the added concrete structure and how the parking lot will be affected. All the responsible items need to be agreed with by both parties and approved by our legal counsel in writing. And we need to move forward in the correct way that won't affect either party in the future.
I make a motion that we, allow Hot Dog Pizza and Clayton Meat Market to pour concrete from building to attach to city parking lot. Now you can discuss.
Okay,
You can't make a
I can make a
recommendation.
Would I recommend it?
We put it on the table now.
okay, I asked for it to be put on the agenda. And I don't know, I mean, these are two different businesses, one's local, one's coming in from Portland. And I'm just trying to clear the water for them because it's important to our citizens and to us that these two are successful. Eventually, Oto's gonna get bypassed. And we have to work, we haven't really put our effort into helping small business. That's my opinion, okay? I'm not speaking for anybody else, that's my opinion. And I think that we're making it a little bit difficult because anytime we allow for a citizen, when we give a variance to a citizen, under the conditions that if we ever have to break the concrete or whatever to fix repair, we allow them to do that. So why couldn't we do the same for the Clayton Meat Market and Pizza, which his business has grown big time from when he started. And the other thing is, our citizens, right now, Dog Pizza's parking is, it's okay. When Clayton comes in, if you try to get those trucks turning that curve and you got somebody on the side, there's not enough room for our citizens to park there. So the parking lot is great, but to me, that parking lot belongs to our citizens. It doesn't belong to, it doesn't, to me, okay, its own, we call it whatever we want, but we're not here to make a profit from our citizens. We're here to service our citizens. And the way I see it is that if we can get permission to allow for UpDog to, from his building to butt up against the city parking lot with certain conditions, as you mentioned before, why wouldn't we allow them to? And the same for Clayton and their business. And I even spoke, I took the time today, and Raleigh had left for your time, to meet with him today, and I asked him, is this okay before I go make a fool of myself? He said, it's great. And because there's a need for it.
My question was, they never approached the city about it. You see, that's a.
But they approached me.
You see,
And
they have never
but-
approached the city in regards to doing it.
But they approached me. And I'm a council member, and I just wanted to bring it to the table because I know there's been a lot of discussion on, there's been a lot of discussion about the way the parking lot was supposed to be, didn't get to be. I didn't even want to attack that. What I want to talk about is, on the agenda, it states to allow them, they're gonna figure out how they're gonna find the money to pour all that. If the city ever has to break it to get under there, then have at it. They're gonna give you permission to. Why would we allow, if it's gonna make the job easier for them and allow them to be successful, why wouldn't we do that?
You see, I don't have a problem with it. I was just saying that they should have obviously come to, they should, excuse me.
But I think that, and I'm trying to avoid from us going back and forth, but, okay, whatever was said in the past, but I had the opportunity to spend some time there and go look at his business. He spent a lot of money into it, which is great. But at the same time, there's something wrong with me telling them, hey, you know what, I'm gonna put it on the agenda because I think it's important to our citizens. People are talking about the meat market and they need it. I mean, I think it's important that we go forward and try to do everything we can in our business to help them. Talk about liability, and I understand that. But when we allow a variance to the citizens, it's the same liability that we would do to a business or to anybody else, which our citizens are all important, but the business is bringing people into open. That's the way I see it.
I think when the mayor contacted me on this, first questions I had was, is there an easement going through there, right?
No.
Do we have water lines, gas lines that the concrete's gonna cover up? You also know, I don't know, because that was my big concern for me.
Back in the day, Mr. Raleigh, the easement was in front. The front, right? Sewer line, water line, everything was in front of all the buildings. So this easement, they just threw in there anyway. It's not an easement, actually. They just, no.
Because the property line goes to their building.
So the property line goes
So there's
to the
no
building.
easement to
So-
their building, that
but
is their
back-
property lines, that is correct.
But back then, the former secretary made Mr. Roddy,
You can call me whatever you want, Jesse, I don't.
but she made you dig that thing out of your pocket, right?
Yes.
So it was not considered a city easement. She made him do it.
Because the Texas DOT put their signs through the sewer line
In the front.
in the front. So to get sewer again, Billy Joe Tennell said, we'll give you permission to put the sewer line and the water to the back. But I had to dig. So Sean, my son and I hand dug that because of all the pipes in it. We couldn't get an excavator in it. We dug and installed that line all the way, and then the city hooked it up, and then we buried it.
So it was never a city easement.
No, but it was,
Yeah.
I was directed by, and, Becky was here.
Well, when you purchased that property, did it show in your plat that it's a city easement?
I bought the property before I was given it easement.
Well, when the ex-mayor bought it, it was Time Warner.
Time Warner.
And there was no easement, it was just flats.
Right.
So there was no easement at all, there's 2 flats that the city purchased, no easements at all.
So if there's no easement and his property butts, or his building stops at the edge of his property,
Correct.
that means that those 10 feet belong to the city.
Not back then, not
Well,
back then.
I mean,
It's
now it does.
No, that's back then.
Well, let's go back to my original question. If there is water lines, why can't we allow them to do it? And if they give you permission, if you ever have to bust it for whatever reason, you bust it. What's the big deal? Huh?
And I think the repairs, if they have to bust it. They have to repair
But it is.
It would be the owner's discretion, I mean, they have to fix it.
I mean, these are all just concerns.
Just like anybody else.
Well, no.
Well, why?
This is
They have
what
prolonged so
y'all want.
long.
The council wants it.
Not
The
only
council
that,
wants it, so why are y'all,
Well, okay, so can we, okay, so if they give you something in writing that says you can break it if you need to get in there, we go forward.
but wait a minute, I mean, this has been ongoing since January of this year. Every time we talk about this parking lot, you have a new complaint or a new rule that you want, a new legality that you want overlooked. I don't understand why it is taking you so long to look at all the legalities. This man has been in every single meeting. He goes to every EDC meeting. He has been there, and I do not understand. Also with Updog, they're open till 10 o'clock at night. That is a safety concern to have somebody parked there, walk all the way around with very limited lighting. Why wouldn't it be the city's best interest to make it safe for your citizens? We had it, but initially, before you went in and stopped the parking lot, we had the plans to go all the way to the city.
Can I make a comment about that, about why I haven't addressed this for anyone? Because originally when that parking lot was presented to me, because I didn't ask for the parking lot, it's not my parking lot, that's not my property. I was told, Clayton was told, Adam was told, Jesse was told, all the people that have property and concerns were told the parking lot would go up to the building.
and it's still that way.
That's
And I said, okay, perfect, fine.
I don't see what's a big deal.
Yeah.
Boundary that you put.
They want to, I was trying to avoid bringing that up.
But it's,
So you can't.
It's the truth.
Why would you want to make that something that's not addressed?
Can we,
no,
we?
then you changed 2 times.
I
You changed it.
I think he's coming in, this month, right? Clayton's trying to come in this month.
Oh, yeah, he'll be in there. This
So,
month.
all I'm asking is for the council to approve it, if you want to put stipulations, if you want to put stipulations in there.
No, the way, no, the city attorney, it's city property, the original plat, the original drawing for this concrete was brought up to my property. You saw it, everybody saw it.
Well, that's what we had discussed.
That's what we approved.
And
So-
now I'm being told that to get the original approval back to there, I have to agree to take all the financial burden and responsibility when originally it was supposed to go up to his property line and my
yours.
property line. And now you're telling me if we're gonna get this, that you want me to take on all the financial responsibility and burdens
for everything to do with that. That's what you're telling me then, correct?
That's what
No,
we-
she's the one that changed the bid.
I didn't change it.
You signed it. I have the one that where you signed. You didn't date it because you don't date your documents, but you signed it. You initialed it, where you
Yeah,
changed
But it
it.
was, we
I will sit down and explain.
You were the only one that signed it
I
though.
know, because I can sign it.
And it's-
That's why I signed it, and I'm
You didn't
like-
date it, so I don't know
You've
what
been
date
to
it
the
was.
outside. I've been to square one. Our EDC approved a 60, 75 by 144.
I make a motion that we allow them to build a sidewalk from the parking lot to their building.
Second.
It's already.
So let me ask this question. So-
Then let's vote.
So,
They're discussing.
okay, so we start pouring cement. Are you gonna stop that? Are you gonna make an executive decision to stop it? I'm asking that question.
Well, it shouldn't, because the council's gonna vote.
No, but it's been stopped before.
She shouldn't have that authority.
I'm asking because she can just say,
But then why do you have a council? If you're gonna go behind their back and make executive decisions.
Can you come down?
I'm calm.
He's the one that told me, make an executive decision to do it. Because the original, you can't say no, you want it. I know.
Oh, but we heard it.
But you want.
We all heard
I
it.
got the recording.
Okay, we have a recording.
We all heard it.
Everybody heard the recording.
Play it. Play it.
Isaac, remember when we were there, that it got changed?
Play it.
Then we changed it when
You were there.
Jesse was out there doing the red.
But it was done in writing.
Oh, yeah, everybody were there.
Let's move forward, yes or no?
But he's right. We're gonna have to give him forward and she's gonna make an executive decision and stop it.
Why is he gonna take the ball for it?
Exactly.
So, this is the.
I'll do whatever we need to do. I'll tell you now, if the city votes to not allow it, then at least fill in the part that was excavated so that the water doesn't just make a nice little pond back there. But if the city, y'all make the decision to, hey, we can do maybe hard concrete and maybe some nice paving stones where there are water lines and sewer lines and gas lines, because those paving stones, the nice little brick ones you see around the turnarounds, would be easily removed and put back if there are, plumbing. I would like just to have some kind of option. And I'll tell you now, these two guys and the EDC are working very hard to help the businesses that are opening. And, we got Billy over here, he's gonna be across the street. Our downtown is more than it's ever been since the 1929 when the building was built. 1921, I know.
So how are you gonna do the docking?
The docking,
For the
Sir,
loading and-
there's no, docking's not on this.
I mean, the loading.
Don't say nothing. Docking's not, it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, but I
It's not on the agenda.
city, you can load your product. You just want the
No,
property.
look, it's not on the agenda, don't discuss it. All it is what's on the agenda right there.
Isn't it a city
Okay,
business?
so you're
So you
just,
don't need to answer.
all you're doing is pour concrete then? That's all you're gonna do?
That's all we're doing is pouring concrete.
Okay, chop them down.
That's all we're doing is pouring concrete.
You're gonna have to chop down some of that curb.
No, they're not gonna, it's not on the agenda.
Whatever we say, and then people are gonna be tripping, trying to step over that.
And then there's a city liability.
Then the
right?
city liability.
There you go.
Why would you allow?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking, how are they gonna do it?
They're gonna walk away out.
Well, we know-
At this point, we're gonna be going through Main Street.
I don't think, I think that, okay, this is what, you're not gonna solve it tonight. You're not gonna solve it tonight. All you're gonna do, all I wanna do is get a motion to get it approved, and then, you know what, y'all can work together and get it done. Okay, so motion's already been made. Or second, right? Okay.
Can I ask a question? If this gets approved tonight, and then we come back and say, you know what, there's a better way to do it, are we stuck with this, or can we approach the city and say, hey, look, we've come up with a better way to do this? Can,
Just bring it back on the agenda, you can bring however you want to do it.
you gotta move quick, because
The problem is-
I know.
The problem is that if you don't go with this, then you're waiting 30 days.
Why
We
not?
don't meet till another 30 days.
Clayton will be here.
So you're gonna be,
Well, and Clayton can just block Main Street and unload from Main Street and block traffic.
Yeah.
And the deer hunters can block Main Street as they're unloading their deer. Or they can block the parking lot. I'm being a smart ass. I apologize. I apologize.
Are there permits that need to be taken out?
They're gonna have to take out.
So let me just, let me get straight. So, we can pour copy then, right?
But now you're building, Jesse, you're not on
Wait a
the
minute, he's
agenda.
gotta come to the EDC now, right? Now that the city council approved it, he's coming back to the EDC?
Go ahead.
it's up to him. It's up to him, but
Go ahead, this is.
I just have, so if you all decide to allow them to pour the concrete, we're gonna move forward enough to where nothing's gonna be stopped. I mean, there's gonna be nothing, because it was voted before, so that's why I'm asking. This
that
time,
is-
nothing will be stopped.
That is correct, but with the understanding that the advice that our attorney and Vicky brought up about, who's responsible if we ever have to break it, that might be in there.
Oh, yeah, yes.
You know,
but
just
I'm
stuff like that.
Yes.
I wouldn't see why it would,
Okay.
and to make sure safety isn't.
I mean, I'm just asking because
Right.
I know things have been stopped in the past, so I just want to make sure that these guys are successful enough to have a way to use this parking lot.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a vote for phase one, yes, phase two.
Yes.
Phase one. And you set up to, reports from mayor and council, staff, maybe David, but I don't know, actually take that. We're having, we need to have a budget workshop.
When can you all get together sometime in hopefully you all can?
What you did.
Pass.
Supposed to be done before you set your tax rate.
This says, adopt the budget no later than August 22nd, so we've passed that one.
We need to do it as soon as possible.
Especially if your taxes are going up.
So we can get our foot in next month. Well, it needs to be done by next week.
Yeah, because it still has to be put in the newspaper. The public hearing has to go through a public hearing
For the,
before you approve your budget.
so that's when we get it first. Well, that's what we're saying, next week, workshop.
I'm not done with everything that needs to be done for the workshop. That's why I'm asking the week of maybe the 19th or the
And while
26th.
I work on that subject, how's our audit going?
I'm sorry?
That's just next week. No, but it's open for questions right now. Same way it was in America. It's going.
Y'all working on the audit?
About 12.
Y'all working on the audit?
12. That's a Monday. Huh?
Well, what time?
Yeah, but the 12th,
I think we're gonna have to really look at this budget.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna do it at the last minute and it actually has to be approved before the first, right?
Yes.
So I say the 12th. That gives us fair time to look at it
And meet again.
and meet again.
What time?
Y'all go with that?
Just do it this basic case. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Yeah.
I think in the workshop, it said, to tackle the general fund first, right? General.
The main things, the main,
So maybe we do a two-part.
What time?
Well, even if you do a two-part, I still have to have all three funds put together. Can we shoot for the 19th? Because I also have to, I still have to, it's too late for what?
We're just putting this in a bind. We're supposed to have this.
I can do that now, but I can't do that day.
Thank you.
because you can have a workshop on the 19th, the 20th, the 21st. We can put in for 3 workshops if you think it'll take more than one night, one evening. Because I was gonna go with it for the public hearing on the 13th, so it can get posted on the 22nd, so it could be approved on the 4th. But if I'm gonna have a special call meeting before then I will
I thought it had time.
work everything back.
The 30th?
Nothing is going to happen if it's 4 days late.
I'm just saying, why would it be for that?
Because, so if we don't have to have a special call meeting, and it gives us more time
So you
to
recommend?
put it together.
Oh, no, but you only can do it on 19th.
Okay.
So, I mean, if the 20th is the best you can do, I hate to be on the 12th, if we're not gonna get anything done. But that's kind of. putting it in
Is it every Tuesday?
Oh, next time.
Tuesday, Friday.
We should do it on the Thursday.
Right.
You can do Thursday.
I can't do,
Okay.
or I can do, I might just be late. I have a parent meeting
No problem.
after
The 15th?
15, I can just, see the.
Good this week.
The 15th at what time?
Well, if you do it on the 15th, then you're gonna have, if you're not done on the 15th, you're gonna come back on the 16th. The next
Do
day.
whatever we have to do.
That's your
We
own
should
call.
get started on it.
You can't do it.
So start on the 15th.
Do it on the 19th.
The 19th is,
I think I can do that.
the 19th is good.
Are you up on the 19th? What about you, Jesse?
Like I said, I'm not scheduled to work yet, so I'm just waiting,
The
and
19th,
then I can, I'm not scheduled.
no, but you're good.
So far, yes. Unless I get
The
big bucks.
19th,
What time? You won't get ready on the 15th.
what time? Time?
Six.
Whatever's good for y'all. At least
It's about 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Executive session is, 5:30. Okay.
We'll go to the 19th. To start off with that.
Yes, yeah, and also we had, Greg Abbott, pursuant to his powers as governor of the state of Texas, Greg Abbott has issued the following: a proclamation renewing the disasters proclamation concerning border security. The original proclamation is attached to this letter transmitted, so I'm not gonna read it. You already read it. And its sacrificial is included in this. This is the one for, the police department has gotten a lot of their rescue there. It's helped them a lot.
Yes, as, we met, what day did we meet, you see? What day was that? The secretary? 29th, and we discussed a couple of items, we put the minutes, and, we did discuss this item, which Ms. Walker called, and she was not put on the agenda. I don't know if, Hector or yourself would put, or walk on the agenda for drainage. Do you remember anybody, guys? Remember we tabled Lori Walker's and we're supposed to bring to city council, right?
Yes.
Who was? Was it, Hector or
I thought it was either Hector or Isaac.
was it you? Well, Isaac's not on the board.
I know, but he was there.
I thought it was Hector.
I thought it was Hector initially.
So
I don't have it.
I think, you did get called that day by Lori Walker with Deputy, so we might have to put that on the agenda for next time. So that Lori Walker, but she wants drained in, Odom South, so that utilization building. And we did approve the parking lot extension, hoping that we get this, so we got money. We're gonna take it out, we're gonna do it, through the parking lot, we still got like, we got like 16,000, something like that. So we got money to do that, so we're probably gonna start on that project pretty quick. And we talked about, cordless, Billy thing, we talked about Adam. And then also, we did discuss on expenditure in EDC, which, it goes to the treasurer. And then I'll sign them, I'll sign, the mayor sign them, the mayor's not there. The administrator, that's the change of how we. Yes, correct, so that's what we discussed, and everybody, they got that approved, and the bylaws got tabled because it's on. That's all I feel like, if I got any more project for EDC, just so you know, we'll have to be back up in this. And another, and another thing, the TML president of the state invited me to be at the Congressional Assembly meeting, so we're gonna do for the TML part of that board. So that's another thing good for Odom, because Odom gets recognized, and I'm trying to get Odom back in the limelight. So, and the mayor's also involved with a bunch of stuff too. So she got you got a meeting Thursday. They have a coalition mayor, so she's gonna help that. So if you see a lot of mayors from other city, she's gonna be.
Thanks to you.
She's gonna be hosting a bunch of mayors from different cities at what time?
At,
Are we invited?
6.
So if y'all see any other mayors, just invite them, say, I don't, we promote them, welcome aboard, you say, I'm happy here, so. So we're trying to get Odom back in the limelight.
So they can see.
Or the train.
Whatever happens in a family. We're all.
Hey, Mayor, I have a question. To clarify on that, Raleigh's gonna submit his plans or scope of work to y'all and to the EDC, and then John's gonna inspect it. Is that right? Jesse? How's that working?
Oh, once again,
Raleigh's gonna submit his scope of work that he wants done to the city, and then y'all gonna put the disclaimer on there, and then he's gonna inspect it to make sure that it's 10 by 10, or whatever he draws up,
After it's done?
8 by 10. You